So let me begin with the Bardo teaching. First, before we start, one thing I would like to mention, it totally depends on our motivation. That's very true. And through my own experience also, I can say confidently, yes, 100% depends on motivation. So motivation, please make it very pure. I was reading Quintin Jigme, one of the greatest figure in Longchen intake lineage, in entire collected works of Quintin Jigme. And Quintin Jigme mentioned one thing, how it depends on our motivation. He goes with a story that happened in the past. There is a tradition for Buddhist people, starting from the ancient time, to invite Buddhist monks, the bhikkhus, masters, for the recitation of the teachings of Buddha. The texts, like Tripitaka, we have Kangyur and Tengyur and many other things. So, in one village, one person invited a very good master for the recitation of the text, the Buddha's teaching. Then that master sat in the roof of the house, and he kept reading the text. So the man, the owner of the house, he went out somewhere in the mountain to do something, maybe a collection of firewood or something, and he watched back. He looked at from the mountain where he can see the house on the roof. There is a master reading the text from a distance. Then that man, for his surprise was that the master is not alone. He was surrounded by many other sort of unusual beings that he has never seen. The man he has never seen in his life, including different other sort of yogis, bhikkhus, and many other beings. And he was really surprised. What is it? There was nobody when I came out, but now there's so many surrounded. So he quickly gone back to the home, and when he reached the master reading text, there was nobody. He was alone. Then that's what actually inspired that man, because the master was such a special. Not only he recited that text for that single person. Those beings surrounded him from a distance that he saw are all invited. So even though we are here around 20 to 30 people, or maybe more, actually yes, you can invite more through your motivation. And that makes everybody, no matter whatever condition they are, formless beings, they can also be together with us and listen to the teaching. So actually the master who was reading the text, because of his motivation, so many other beings were also listening and enjoying the recitation of that text. After some time, again that man invited another master, and that master was maybe not so good with motivation. Oh, sorry. So the man was very happy, felt so blessed. Then he offered a horse, because it's not like today we offer money or something. Those days they offer cattle and many other things. So the man offered the master nice horse, and which was maybe considered to be a very spiritual offering, I think, in those days. After some time, the man invited another master with the same sort of motivation, expectation maybe, his devotion. Then the master maybe is not so good, in his motivation. He came so happily, expecting he will also get a horse. Then he was reading the text in the same place, the same text. The man went out purposely and looked back from the same distance. There was no other beings surrounding, like the previous master. But the only thing that the man saw was a horse, in front of him. You see? So this is what happened, and the Queen Jigme tells us, So not only me, but we all have to be very good in motivation. And you can invite, many other beings, as many as possible. Don't worry, this room is not enough for them. Yeah. Okay? So with that motivation, make it very sort of, inclusive, including everyone. Another thing, very fresh, just woke up, and then now we are certainly trying to put, our mind in one pointed concentration for the teaching. Wow, Bardo teaching I heard from many. It's like really want to put teaching. So how is it? I really want to see. Then, because of that motivation, makes you really be one pointed. But because we are not so used to it, there is a danger that we may fall asleep. So balance, relax, then you listen. Then now, the Bardo teaching. Bardo teaching, to go through the history, very brief. There are so many tantras, teachings, the most essential teachings of Buddha, known as tantra. This Bardo teaching is the essence of all the tantras that Lord Buddha gave, the tantra teaching. Guru Dorje, Padmasambhava, he gave his teaching. He composed this teaching in 8th century, when he was, in the Himalaya. So he composed this teaching based on all those. It's not actually a composition. Sort of Guru Rinpoche's personal, what do you call that? Imagination as a person, or idea, as a scholar, or philosophy, or theory that Guru Rinpoche just wrote it down. It is not like that. Guru Rinpoche composed this based on all those Tantra teachings given by Buddha, because Tantra teaching is such a vast, for us, individually, especially in the very normal people, ordinary people case. It's a big jungle, Tantra teaching. Even we try to, hold one very simple track, we get very easily lost in that jungle because it's so profound and very vast. So to get that, essence extracted for normal people, it's really difficult. But that essential teaching is what is most important for us. The most, I think, the fundamental necessity for those who practice religion or dharma or whatever, spirituality. That's why, out of compassion, Guru Rinpoche extracted the essence of all the tantra and composed, this text known as Bardo. So this is the essence of the entire tantra teachings of Buddha. And after Guru Rinpoche composed this, Guru Rinpoche kept it secret. The teaching, which is kept secret, treasured, hidden, are known as Dharma teaching. The rediscovered sort of, hidden treasure teaching. In 14th century, Mahasiddha Karmalimpa, an emanation of Guru Rinpoche himself, in 14th century, he discovered this teaching, which Guru Rinpoche kept, secret. Since then, it was brought, into practice. And now, you can find this teaching practice basically in Nyingma and Kaju. And also, these teachings are now widely practiced even by other schools such as Sakya, Gelug, Cholang, and many others. Shichi. This teaching, I think for Western people, European people, they are very quick to know the value, I think, In 1927, it was translated almost completely into English in 1927. Then after that, there has been several translations of it into English. And one of the most famous translation is by Shwetam Trungpa. And later, the famous book Living and Dying, composed by Sogyal Rinpoche, is completely also related to this teaching. So it is, you can say, this is another, elaborate sort of, and practical explanation composed, the book known as Living and Dying by Sogyal Rinpoche, which I think helped many in the world. And that is also the main, I think, one of the main contribution why people get so interested in public teaching. Inspired a lot. So this Bardo teaching is how it came to be. And Tantric teachings always has to be, passed to the student disciples by the master. There is a tradition of, continuing transferring the lineage blessings. This is very important, especially in the Tantra teaching case. Very important. Otherwise, it can be contaminated very easily, and maybe the essence is very lost very easily. So this is another reason why the lineage blessings is considered very, very, very special. Okay. I received this when I was very young age from my great-grandfather, who was such a wonderful master, practicing both Nyingma Kagyu. in my region, hometown, Dorje. He already passed away at the age of 100 over. It was in the year 2004. He already passed away. I first received this from him. Then the main transmission is coming from my guru, Dorje Rinpoche. Maybe you have heard of Dorje Chin. Holiness Dorje Chin Rinpoche is now. Have you heard of Chatra Rinpoche? Yeah, Chatra Rinpoche with the long beard. Rinpoche is now over 100. This year they celebrated his 100th year. And Chatra Rinpoche and Dorje Chin Rinpoche, they are the most sort of unique and such a, what you call it, prominent and really unique Dzogchen master living today. Still, so really wonderful that we have such a highly accomplished and realized master, still with us. So Dorje Chin Rinpoche is one of my main guru, from whom I received this transmission. And of course, many of you know His Eminence Yongey Mingyur Rinpoche. It was in the year 2004 in Kathmandu, while His Holiness Trishik Rinpoche was giving the entire transmission of Nyingma Kama in Kathmandu at Shishin Monastery. Sangye Nyingma Rinpoche, Yongey Mingyur Rinpoche, and many other masters from different schools. I think more than 4,000 students from different monastery, different tradition, different lineage gathered at Shishin Monastery for that transmission and instructions from Holiness Trishik Rinpoche. During that time, Yongey Mingyur Rinpoche, from whom I received the essential, instructions of the Bhagavad teaching, because Yongey Mingyur Rinpoche is such a wonderful master, and who is really, really rich in all the lineages, especially that is coming from his father, Tubu Rinpoche. So I purposely received these instructions from Yongey Mingyur Rinpoche. So several sort of, sources that is connecting the Bhagavad that I am giving to you. So it is not something like, I heard one of my teachers used to tell me that a master who gave, a group of people very special empowerment. And after the empowerment was, done, the master told the group, you are really, really, really fortunate. The most fortunate, I think, at this world, to receive this empowerment, because this is so rare and such an important empowerment that even myself, have not received yet. So it's not something like that, just to make sure you all okay. Now let's go to the main topic. Bardo. Bardo is a Tibetan language, Tibetan word. Bar means in between, okay? And to means two. So in between the two, okay? Simply the literal meaning is that in between the two, Ar and Do. Okay? So in that sense, Bardo can be so many. Between whatever, the state between whatever is called Bardo. East and west, between these two directions is also Bardo. Big and small. That, can also be a Bardo. Right and wrong. Positive and negative. In this way, so many. You can understand, Bardo in this way. Actual Bardo that we are now talking about is basically between, the state which is known as intermediate state. The situation, the world between the death and the birth. Okay? After we die, starting from that, when we will be reborn again. So that moment, that intermediate state, that between, state is known as Bardo, usually for all of us, And how is that possible? Many people have confusion. After death, who has actually seen that situation, so-called Bardo? Nobody actually has seen this, with these two physical eyes. So how is it possible that, intermediate state to be something very fearful, scary, terrifying, or something very pleasant, or even to be such a wonderful opportunity to be enlightened, or something that is very mysterious, the state, the intermediate state. Many people have that confusion. Who knows who was the one actually saw that and tells us all this to be something really true. I cannot help anyone to go and actually see that with this true physical eye, but to give you some, I think, clue to have a certainty, kind of be sure of. I think yes, I would like to use an example of mobile. We use the mobile phone to call somebody which is not around us. So when you dial the number in this thing, that call goes to the other person, no matter wherever he is. When the call goes from this mobile, you cannot see the call going, with your eyes. You cannot see. When you say hello, the word, in a very syllable written way, it doesn't go, fly in the sky and go to the next person looking for where he is, It's like maybe, imagine, when we watch the Google Earth from a satellite. It's not something like that, we see with our this eye, no. But yes, it reaches the person who you're calling, because that call is carried and sent, in the form of what you call it, maybe energy wave. I don't know exactly. That reaches the person, Then he picks up the phone, So when you dial the number and call, that is like the dying process. That's like death. Okay? So the call, that is going into the wave, energy form, that's like our, what you call, soul. Many says soul, Actually, consciousness, what do you call that? Yeah? Vigyan, Namkha. So the consciousness is, what goes through all this between state, okay, intermediate state. The consciousness goes. Whether the consciousness will have a nice sort of, journey or not, depends on the network, how well the network is. If the network is not good, then you will say, sorry, the call has been, something, yeah, cannot reach or something. So many times, our call fail. Something like that. If the consciousness or the mind of the person who died have not good positive karma, enough karma to really connect the network, then he may fail. If the consciousness has a very good karma, so many accumulation of merit, such a rich in all those positive things, almost there is no doubt that it will definitely reach the next person. So the call, when received by somebody, there is a signal, ringtone, vibration, so whatever. That makes, the person next, know, oh, call to me. So our birth is, when the person picks up the next birth, when the person answers the phone. Whether that, answer from the person who picks up the phone will be very nice or something really stress, sort of making you really stressed. It depends on how you speak, who you talk to from here. If you say very nice way, hello, the person will maybe also say hello, If you say very rude way, the person will also maybe respond almost in more, I think, shocking way. Yeah? So this is like karma. If you have done very good karma here, the response in next birth will also be very good. Yeah. So roughly you can understand, the Bardo, the intermediate state. What is it like? How it actually goes, and so the idea or the understanding is something like this. Okay? Is it clear? The intermediate state. Okay? So this you keep in your mind. Now let me move to the Bardo, okay, in a more elaborate way. There are so many Bardos, but especially, related our subject. There is 4 major Bardo. Mainly 4 Bardos, okay? 4 kinds. Number 1, the Rangshindi Bardo, the natural Bardo, the basic Bardo. And that is more, that associates the Bardo of this life. Then the second, number 2, is the Bardo of death. Okay, the second Bardo. Make it very simple. The Bardo of death. Okay, it's very suffering, mostly. Then the third is called Shrini Bardo. That means you can just note it down in the Sanskrit, I think. The Bardo, the Dharmata, yeah? Dharmata means the ultimate nature as it is. Yeah? Okay? The ultimate reality as it is. Okay? Or naturally is. Okay? The ultimate reality, as naturally is. Okay? That is the Bardo, the third Bardo, Dharmata. Then you will understand it, even though, it is very confusing word, dharmata. You will really clearly understand it later when we go through all these explanations. The fourth Bardo is the Bardo of becoming, they call it the karmic Bardo. The karmic Bardo of becoming. I also call it a border Bardo. It's a border, either to go to samsara or to pure land. So the fourth Bardo is like border, very close to samsara and also quite close to the safe zone, pure land. Okay? So clear, yeah? Four Bardo, okay? The four Bardo mainly. Is it okay? Clear? You understand? Okay? So now let's start with the number one. The Bardo number one. The natural Bardo of this life. Okay? Now please concentrate. This is very important. I must, make sure so that you can really understand the rest. Then you will really appreciate, and I will also be happy. Otherwise, let's take okay. Natural Bardo. When it actually started, the natural Bardo is actually, always there in every moment. Whether we are born as a human, we are still in natural Bardo. Whether we will die, still actually, we are not free from that ground, the natural Bardo. The natural Bardo is started the moment we got lost in this samsara. Okay? The moment we slip our leg into the samsaric lake, the ocean, that is the beginning of the natural Bardo. You know what I mean? The moment you are born in Indonesia, that's the starting of your being an Indonesian, citizenship. Yeah, you are Indonesian citizen. That's because you were born here. Yeah? Same, the moment we were born in this samsara, okay? I'm talking about the first time that we actually born in the samsara. That is the starting of natural Bardo. Okay? The beginning of samsara is actually the starting of natural Bardo. Okay? So, is it clear? Okay? How did that happen? This is really interesting now. Okay? How we actually fall in this lake, the samsara. How we actually, got lost in the samsara. The starting happened how? Okay? That's very, very important. Usually there is an explanation about how this universe started, existing. The modern scientists, the science tells us it started when the Big Bang happened. Yeah? When that, the first very big explosion happens, then the universe started, existing. That's what the science says. Yeah? So the Big Bang is regarded as the beginning. Okay? Something like that. What was the starting of, our start of the samsara? Let me use the number example. Okay, we have number counting from 1, 2, 3, 4 plus, many. And we also have 0, then minus 1, 2, 3, 4, thousands, billions, minus. So beginning base or the foundation is what? 0. Yeah? From 0, minus starts. From 0, plus starts. Isn't it? Clear? 1 is counted based on 0. Minus 1, 2, 2 is also counted based on 0. Without 0, there is no almost 1, 2, 3. And there is no number almost, without the beginning 0. Okay? So what is that 0? Okay? Now let me tell you our mind. Okay? Our mind also starts from a base, a foundation, something like 0. Okay? And that 0 is neither plus nor minus. Clear? Okay? The 0 is neither plus nor minus. Our mind has two things now. The minus aspect and the plus aspect. Okay? 2. It has also two meanings now. The plus aspect is what we call enlightenment process. Okay? Enlightened stages. Enlighten what you call is the qualities. That is the plus. And what goes against, opposite enlightened quality is called ignorant. Yeah? Or what you call it? Paranoia. Yeah? Let's say ignorance. Okay? So the ignorant becomes minus number 1, and enlightened sort of, what you call it, compassion, devotion, wisdom, especially wisdom, is the plus number 1. You be sure, okay? I'm using the number as an example. So what is the plus point aspect and what is the minus aspect? Okay? You understand with our mind. The mind has positive and negative. That's everybody knows. Okay? We all know. So the starting of the negative aspect of mind, which is called ignorant, that is the minus, number 1. Okay? The number 1, okay, under the minus. The minus number 1. Because everything that is negative starts from our ignorance. Okay? And whatever that is positive, in other words, we call it enlightened sort of, quality of mind. That starts basically from compassion and wisdom. So the union of compassion and wisdom becomes the plus number 1. Is it clear now? Are you sure? Okay? Because unless you don't understand this, I don't think still really clear. And we are left with some very disgusting conclusions. So let's say this is 0, okay, and 0 is beyond numbers, either plus or minus, okay, beyond. 0 is not number 10, 100, billion, 1,000, nothing. In either way, okay. When you realize that, 0, then become Buddha. I mean, that state of mind beyond both the plus and the minus, then we come to that. Enlightened, we become enlightened. Becoming enlightened is not becoming only good, but also go beyond good. It's really, I think, confusing for you. Okay, but actually yes. So when you realize that your nature of your mind, the state of your mind beyond positive and negative, if you realize that completely, and that is actually ultimate, thing that we become, that makes us enlightened. Because we go beyond. Unless you cross that, to think, you are still in thick trap. You are not free from number. Either you are in thousands of billions in a plus way, or thousands of billions in a minus way. You are not free from number. So you have to reach that state which is beyond number, that is zero. Then you become beyond, number. You keep this in mind. It will bring more, I think, news to you slowly. Okay. So, recognizing, I'm using this word very importantly, recognizing, realizing that, state, the zero state, which is beyond all the negative, positive, right, wrong, virtues, non-virtues, big, small, all these dualistic concepts. All these dualistic concepts. Realizing that zero state of mind, okay, is very, very important. That's the final, actually, our mission. If you don't realize that, or you are not aware of that, the zero state of mind, the state of mind which is beyond all these dualistic things, then we become ignorant, paranoid. Okay? Then we go minus. So, knowing and not knowing makes all the differences. This is poison, this is medicine. But you don't know which one is the poison and which one is the medicine. Simply not knowing that, not realizing that, creates that danger by which you may lose your life. Just simply by not knowing which one is the medicine and which one is the poison. Very simple. You just, because you don't know. Simply not knowing that puts us in that danger. Okay? Simply not knowing that situation puts us in our life in danger. Yeah? Poison. By poison, many people lose their life. Why? Don't know which one is poison and which one is not. Simply not knowing makes, puts their life in danger. And many already lost their life. And if you know, oh yeah, this is the medicine and that's the poison, definitely you will not consume that, which is poison. Then you're free from danger. of that poison. What makes that difference? Because you know you are safe. Because you don't know you are in danger. This is one clue. Knowing and not knowing makes how big difference. That's why the point I'm putting here is realizing that state, the ultimate state of mind, makes us enlightened. Not realizing that state of mind makes us, fall in samsara. Just simply keep this in mind. Okay? This track. So the point is, whether we realize that nature, that state, or we not, Enlightened because you realize that. Not enlightened, but ignorant because we don't realize that. So realizing that, reality makes the difference between sentient beings, ignorant, Buddhas, enlightened. You know what I mean? Are you getting? Following me? Hope. Please try to extract a point. I'm just simply putting it now. Okay? So see, knowing and not knowing saves you or puts you in danger. Similarly, knowing that zero state of mind, don't think about circle zero, a state of mind that is beyond all the dualistic things, which is what we call confusion, illusion, delusion. Okay? Realizing that state of mind, the mind beyond positive, negative, and every those conceptual, the duality. Realizing that state of mind makes you enlightened. Let me repeat this again. And not realizing that state of mind makes you samsaric beings. Clear? Okay? So the point is, whether you realize or not, very simple, poison and medicine. You know, free from danger. You don't know, you are in danger. It's very simple. See? So the starting of samsara happened because we could not realize, and the samsara ends because we realize that zero state, okay, which is beyond number. The moment we couldn't realize that nature of mind is the starting of our journey in samsara. When was that? How many millions years ago? And what was our name? And where we were born? Who was our parents? It's beginningless. That's what Buddha says. Beginningless. Nobody can actually find that, exactly to point, this is actually trillion billion years ago. And I was known as what? Nobody can actually say that. Nobody can actually find that. Because the samsara has no beginning. It's a beginningless. That's what Buddha says. This is what Buddha taught, okay? So it's beginningless, the process. We have heard of Samantabhadra, Kundu Sangho. And Kundu Sangho is also the first Buddha. the number one Buddha, I mean the first, who became the first Buddha, is known as Kundu Sangpo. The center that we are in now is also called Adi Raja. Adi means beginningless, the starting point. Raja is the king of, the beginningless state, which also refers to Kundu Sangpo or Vajradhara, whatever you call it. Okay? Kundu Sangpo is the only one who realized that state beyond. Don't get lost, the zero. The zero is, I'm not actually talking the circle zero, which we write in our number, but the zero is actually beyond number. That is what you should understand. Which now I'm trying to refer is the ultimate state of our mind, which is beyond positive, negative. Okay? So that state, Kundu Sangpo, he realized, so became Buddha immediately. That's why Kundu Sangpo was known as the first Buddha. Rest 99%, all of us fail to recognize that. So we were in danger zone, since then, in this samsara. But that state, the reality state of our mind, the beyond, the reality beyond all these conceptual things, that is our ultimate state of mind, which is always with us. That state of mind, the ultimate state of mind that we all have is called Buddha nature. So you can call the zero state is Buddha nature. Okay? So the zero is the Buddha nature. And that Buddha nature is always with us, every one of us, including, all those beings, insect, Satan, the beings, of the hell, yeah, and all those formless beings. We all have that same reality, which is beyond, all positive, negative, conceptual things, like zero, beyond, minus and plus numbers. Okay, that nature is called Buddha nature. That Buddha nature is not manufactured by 1 million Buddha in enlightened company, and that Buddha nature cannot be, contaminated or destroyed or make it worse or something, changed into something negative by billions of negative force. Cannot change it. You put 1 billion number minus, still the zero is zero. You plus 1 billions of number on that zero, but still zero is zero. Zero does not become, from circle to triangle. You understand what I mean? Okay? The moment we lost in the jungle is because we did not realize that Buddha nature. The moment we fall, minus 10, 20, 100,000 billion, because we cross the zero level. Yeah? And that Buddha nature, is actually created by nobody. Beyond everything, that Buddha nature. The moment we fail recognizing that Buddha nature, okay, the potential to become a Buddha, okay, to reach that beyond stage, not recognizing that, is the starting of ignorance. Ignorance means not knowing anything. Okay? In Sanskrit, for the term used for ignorance is avidya or vidya. Yeah? In Pali, we call it avidya. Yeah? Means darkness. Refers to the word for darkness in Sanskrit is Andhaka. And vidya is the awareness, the wisdom, knowledge, the intellectual aspect of mind. Vidya, Ripa, we also call it awareness. When that wisdom, the awareness or wisdom is trapped, overpowered by the darkness of ignorance, the word, andhakar, the avidya, it's very clear, darkness, vidya, awareness trapped in darkness, that is called ignorant. Okay? Ignorant started how? Not recognizing the state of, ultimate state of mind which is beyond everything, the zero state, the Buddha nature. Not recognizing or realizing that Buddha nature became the starting of ignorance. Okay? Is it clear now? Okay? So the ignorance started in us, by not realizing that. Then the ignorance now becomes the foundation, the factory, the company, the farm, for everything that is now with us, in samsara. So the basic source of all these samsaric things started from ignorance. Let me give you an example. It's a very nice joke. Maybe it will make you, because this is a very important point. Usually, it is almost not explained for most of the students, I think. But I must try, because I don't want to leave you all, half away. Yeah. There's a joke, kind of very nice joke, a story of a family, father, mother, and a son. After some, that's very in the very remote area, such a remote, where what you call this modern, things are almost not even seen in dream. Also, one day the father died. Then the son was asked, to marry. So he got a wife. Both mother and the the wife asked him to take care of the house, the family, the home, everything. Then asked him, okay, do something different that nobody has done in our village. Go to a town, modern city, bring so many different, things that is not here, and you can make a lot of profit. With some, capital, money, budget, he was sent to the capital. After many months, he reached very modern city, where everything, was totally, he was totally, green, as if he was in another sort of planet. Then he went to the market to see things what he can bring back. One amazing thing he saw is the mirror, the mirror. Then when he saw the mirror, it really shocked him. So surprised. Wow, this is really special. When he looked at him, the mirror, he thought, he found his father back. Yeah. Because he has never seen mirror before. And he himself looks like father, Wow. What can be, more precious than being this is, Forget about all business. Take father back to home. He paid everything, took it back to home, but very changed, He was very sort of nervous, looks happy also, but confused also, very changed. And his wife, got doubt, very suspicious. Something is wrong with this man. What happened? After going to market, the capital city, he has changed a lot. I hope and wish he's not, having second thought. But he remained most of the time, close door, see the mirror, and try to communicate with the father. And he was not really sure, not dare to actually share that, with the family. One day, she took the chance. When he was coming out, she quickly ran in, closed the door, searched everywhere. She found the mirror under the pillow. The moment she watched, she saw the mirror, cried a lot. She cried. She was really in pain, very broken heart. And she called the mother-in-law. She comes, what happened?